Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, David. How are you doing?
Uh, okay, I'm okay. There's
Yeah.
always, it seems like every morning that we go stream, though, all the settings get reset. And you got to do it again, or you're not impressed.
Uh, it wouldn't be a morning of 3D Make It without that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that makes me
You
sad.
you would miss it.
Yeah, yeah, the very troubleshooting, the why can't I hear you moment.
Yeah, you would
Yeah,
totally miss it.
totally miss it. Well, what's new and happening in your world of hurting?
Just been tinkering lots with this printer still. I
Mm.
got it upgraded to a Raspberry Pi 4, which means I had to um, rewire it because the Raspberry Pi 3 has a full size HDMI cable versus the small micro HDMI. So I actually
Mhm.
had to, there was an HDMI cable that kind of ran all the way up here and around and in. So I had to replace that. And then
HDMI
um,
cable or USB?
both HDMI because the screen
Oh, it's like a
is
little
HDMI.
screen.
Yeah, the Pi is down here underneath,
Gotcha.
and then the screen connects via HDMI. So I had to rewire that, and then the power is different on the Pi 4 than the Pi 3. So I changed kind of the what was there, and then for some reason this had a mini amp with speaker that was plugged into the headphone jack. I'm like, I don't want that, so I took that out. Uh, it's
What would,
like
what would even be the point of like that?
Well, it could play a song. See, like it had a little jack plugged into the thing, and then it had an output to speaker and a little 5-volt power, and you
Oh,
could turn
so
it
it
up.
went do.
Yeah, you could play a little tune that your print was done,
Mm, that's
I
catchy.
guess. But
Uh,
I'm like, I don't want that, so I took that out, and then I got a good print off, but I broke off the got a good print off, but I broke off the smokestack. And then I got a good print off, but um, I forgot to change the profile in the slicer, so it's super stringy.
also, it
Like,
doesn't look like the smokestack straight, at least the way
uh,
you're holding.
oh well, it's because it's loose.
Ah,
Because I so I
that's,
got tweaking to do.
mm-hmm.
It was that was with the second nozzle, so I was trying both nozzles just to see if I could, and then I
Oh,
realized I didn't go into the slicer and tweak um, the retraction length and everything that I should have
mm.
been doing in the second nozzle because I did it all for the first nozzle, and then I just assumed that I did it for the second nozzle.
Oops.
And you know what
Breaks or
happens when you
waves.
assume.
Everything breaks.
Everything breaks. Yep. Indeedly do.
Mm.
And Dominic's here. And now I know Earth 2 and Beyond, your name changed in YouTube, so I don't know who you were before you were Earth 2.
I know who he is. It's really easy to figure out too.
Is it?
Yeah, just look at his profile picture.
Uh,
Still has his,
uh,
or had his initial last week, I think.
oh, it's Gary. Hi, Gary.
There you go. I was like, huh? Yeah, so I mean, you're getting closer on your little project there for sure.
Yeah, well, it definitely works. I want to get the retraction fixed. Once I get that going for the second nozzle, um, I'm going to try a calibration print where you
Mm.
print the two colors just to make sure I got that right. And I don't think I have the bed dimensions right because it's deceptive on the plate because let me see if I got one here. It's a mirror, but if you look at the back here, it has these alignment notches.
Mhm.
And so the heated bed is in between these two notches. So if you look at this, it looks like your print area is bigger than it is. And so
Mm.
I gotta like figure out the proper build plate area and then and movement and whatnot because it's actually smaller than you think it is. So
The whole mirror.
yeah.
Kind
So
of a weird way to do it.
I but it was 13 years ago. They didn't know much.
I mean, they do their best for
I
sure.
mean, they made a clipper capable printer through with dual nozzles 13 years ago, which is like that's actually pretty advanced.
That's
So,
true.
but
Oh,
anyway, so I've been having fun playing
coming,
around with that.
coming along, coming along.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't. Oh, no, I haven't. I've printed some stuff this week, but it hasn't been like projects or anything. Just I printed calibration bench here.
My
You
daughter
know.
had a few projects for me. She in air cadets they have a competition coming up with air rifles and they use pellet guns and they have a little tray um and I don't of course I gave them to her. I don't have one here. And the tray has like it has a whole bunch of little kind of divots in it to put your single pellet in so that each pellet represents the target you're shooting at. So if you can have 3 shots per target, that you put 3 pellets in each of the little little cups kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I made the tray they had was a really janky wooden one that someone roughly did out of scrap wood and stuff. So I made them a nice
I
one, and then
could have saved you
you
some time.
yeah, and then you flipped it over, and I did a second color in the back, and it has their unit information on the back. Yeah, it
Yeah,
looks very
I already made this. I made
yeah, it
this
looks very much
two
like that.
years ago. Yeah, I made it for his name is Rob.
Yeah,
Air Cadets. Yeah,
yeah,
I already made it. That's what I was
yeah.
like. I'm sure I already made one. So it's even in our fusion. You could have just copied it and
Well,
been done.
I made a different one because you wanted some specific changes and
Yeah,
stuff. So, but
there you go.
yeah, so it worked out pretty good, and she was
Nice.
pretty happy with it. I did it in their colors too. So
Mm.
it was blue, and then it has yellow on the back for their, which is their competition hoodie color. Like they have hoodies, and it's blue
Mm.
with yellow writing on it. So yeah,
Mm-hmm. That's neat.
so yeah, so I've been doing like little stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Little
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Yeah.
So there's a new kid on the block. So like we have talked of the U1 before from Snapmaker.
Mhm.
That's their new tool changer.
Yep. Which
Um
which is
was
the current buzz all over the
right.
YouTube.
Um so like it's a funny interesting thing that happens because tool changing has been around for many years. Um
But it was hard, so no one ever brought it down
well,
to cost wise.
and then it wasn't mm, it's kind of like when the enraged rabbit feeder was a thing before, like the AMS and CFS and the Cobra box or whatever it's called, like it's kind of like that. Before that, people did it, but it was always like on their own volition almost, like they just started the project.
Mhm.
Like the Kodak printer you have, for example, is that has two print heads in it, yeah.
It does.
So, it it's kind of like a precursor, I guess, because it's almost similar to the H2D in how it switches, right?
Yeah. I don't know if that's coming out on camera there.
No,
Kind of drops.
no, you can't. I could see the print heads, but I can't see it drop.
Mm.
You'd have to zoom in a whole bunch, but that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
But the and then Index is out now as well, right? And
Well,
that's
soon.
soon,
Technically, it'll be March or April or something.
right? Bamboo Lab has had a swing at tool changing.
Mhm.
You got the U1 Snapmaker that somehow, and I
It's getting lots
again,
of press.
it's cheap, right? Like the so before Bamboo, you had Prusa, and Prusa was charging $5,000 easy,
And before Prusa, you had E3D.
and E3D was charging like I
Way
think it
more.
was $1,500 just for the platform, and then way more once you got, and then like the slicing was harder, but like when you look at Snapmaker was the first one and it's only in pre-order, as far as I know. Like people are getting them. It is available, but on their website you have to click the pre-order button still. Um they came in at this disruptive price, and if you check
Sorry.
out the Reddit stuff, um uh and if you can trust it, lots of people are having problems with it not redocking eventually, or like the tool heads get lost in the mix.
Well,
But again, ammo?
and that's one of those things that all of them have had. Like the tool changer from E3D had that as an issue or in the beginning, and then they worked it out. And then Prusa had dock kind of calibration issues also for a while. So, and then they kind of have worked it out for the most part. So, I think it's growing pains
but
somewhat.
not. I mean, you can say the same thing about single filament multicolor as well, right? Because you have like when that first came out, they had to like you had things like the palette um
Mm, yep.
enter the field, and we'll come back to that word in a second, but it would cut and fuse based off of calculations in the slicer, so that the purge length was calibrated in that length of filament that it was cut to.
Hmm.
Um, and then came the AMSs,
Hmm.
and those uh, ca-
They had some growing pains with like
mm-hmm.
sensitivity to like the Bowden tube going from the AMS
Yep.
out to the printer and stuff. But I think they've pretty much now it almost doesn't matter the length of tube. They've kind of adjusted the way
It
the
seems so
buffer
robust, yeah.
senses now. So I
And
think they've got through those growing pains now.
but they had the same color calibration, figuring out like where to put
Hmm.
it. Now and so like and then there was IDEX, and IDEX was a beast of its own because you had to line up the nozzles when they print, and so there's
Hmm.
all that calibration, right?
Hmm.
Now the um Dominic said Index can deliver what has been promised. It should take over the community.
Uh,
I agree.
Potentially.
It depends how it's handled, right? Because right now Index is a platform, which is great. And if you have tinkerers, right, that want to use Index to build their tool changer themselves, that's great. But like if you're Index and you're competing with Snapmaker as an example, right? I mean, I don't. Did they finally put a price for Index on the?
I think the kit is like 400 and some dollars, and then the that you adapt with, and then it's so much per head or something like that.
Yeah, and so and, and that's American too. So
Yeah.
the cost of the Index um system, once you get all in, is going to be vastly greater, or at
But
least
you still have to buy, like, right now, the only printer that it's compatible with is the Prusa, Core L,
Core L, yeah. So it's
which
like,
is already super expensive.
yeah. And so like I don't disagree, but what you need to make this happen is a company that sees the value in index and goes, yeah, that's our system. That looks really good. We're going to use that in concert with like our other product.
I hope what I hope to see is I hope to see someone say, "Hey, you know, we licensed your large extruder and all this other models from you. Can we license this technology from you?" And then they properly integrate it into some sort of printer, right? So that it's not just, haphazardly thrown together. It's as an add-on. It's like your snap maker, or like your bamboo with their tool changer. Like it's dedicated to,
Right.
that's what I'd like to see.
That's exactly what I said. They need a manufacturer to pick it up and integrate it to make it
Mhm.
cheap enough for the consumer.
Yeah.
The So like the snap maker though is no longer alone.
Oh,
And
is there another new one?
yes. So um if you look at CES, and we have a few things from CES this year too. But one of the things this year announced at CES was from somebody that I've never heard of, but it's neat. It's a company called Atom Form. Um, they make 3D printers. Shocker. Um,
They make vacuums too.
but they have a printer that is coming out. That's called the Palette. Which I'm like, did you know that there's already a 3D printer company that's used the word palette? Good luck with your life. Um, and
Maybe
it
they
use
spelt the word palette different.
so it uses, and I quote, nope, it's the same spelling. So the printer, just so we all know what it looks like, you know how every single new box of a Core XY printer looks like? It looks like that. That's what their
Have
printer
you
looks
seen
like.
a K2
Yeah, K2, K1, K1 Max, like
or a
uh,
bamboo?
an X1E. The bamboo's the wrong color. It has to be more gray. But so like their technology is called auto swapping nozzles. I haven't so it looks similar to what I index would be. It does not look like index. I don't like I said, it was at CES. They had one on the floor. It's not printing per se, but
Right.
when you look at the system, um, oh boy, does that print head look a lot like um, the U1. So
Have you been to their website to look
yes,
at their stuff?
yep.
Jeez.
So right now, the palette, so you can get a palette pro combo, and basically it comes with these like RFID, call them dry box looking things.
Hmm.
They are dry boxes. They hold 6 filaments in each dry box, and the dry box feeds to the printer.
I really hope that the RFID thing
Dies a
gets
horrible death.
gets standardized, so that you can just everyone is agreed that, this RFID code is green. you know and then it doesn't matter what company
Yeah,
you buy your filament from.
yeah, right. And I think that would be fantastic. I don't think it would ever happen, um,
The
but
volume looks pretty good on this thing too.
it is. And so, like the base, like to get like the dryer and the printer is $1,300 right now. but on their website, when you're looking at like the pricing for this printer too, and again, this is where you're gonna have to take it with a grain of salt, is this is still in Kickstarter. So do we trust enough that this is gonna post and be a thing? I would hope so. But again, like Kickstarter
You,
is
you should show the
dubious as
little video
some.
of their nozzle swap.
I don't know if I have
It's
that one.
well, I got it up. I can share my screen.
Okay, maybe.
Well,
I,
let me
I
see.
I like trying different things. Greg screen capture. Okay, I mean that's a good start. We're halfway there almost. Did you share your screen?
I did.
Okay, because you gotta do that before or then. Okay, hold on. Because every time you share your screen, the link changes. Like they roll
I'm
it,
I'm sorry.
and then I gotta do all this work and um.
But it's actually I couldn't figure out how they're doing it, but that it's 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 kind of
There it is.
a little simpler than Bamboo's changer a
It's
little bit, but
so I
it's the
don't know
same but different.
if you've ever worked on if you've ever worked on a 3D printer that has a nozzle such as this. So it's a quick swap system,
Yeah.
right? Which is great. Um, but I've seen a lot of people twist and break the hot ends. So I wonder
Well,
how
it looks like it's just a 45-degree lock-in and
that's yeah.
possibly inductive heating too.
But the real question becomes, um, like there are reasons that maybe the nozzle gets stuck. And I'm just looking at and spitballing too, right? But
Yeah.
it's the nozzle changing is cool.
Well,
Um,
it
but
looks like you'll still have to have the filament will still have to change. So is there dry box like an AMS as well?
no, I don't know the answer to that. I don't think it is in what I saw.
Because
Um,
it looks like you've changed the nozzle and you're gonna have to swap the color, right? Like
oh, well, oh, I
it's
see what you mean, like the AMS. Yes, it is like the AMS. There's motors in it.
okay.
Um, in that fact,
It's neat. It's kind of mesmerizing to watch.
it is cool. And I don't know. Again, it's one of those things. What's faster, like the snap maker going back, docking, and pulling off the new thing?
I think you're gonna have the similar complaint that everyone's having with the new bamboo about yes, there's less waste, but the time it takes to pull out the filament and switch the filament um, is the issue. Like that people are complaining about the time wise, whereas the index has the filament already loaded in the nozzle, right? So you're just grabbing it and going. So there's no change.
yeah.
So
Well, and
I don't know. It's just a different thought process, but this is pretty cool though,
yeah,
because you could have let's say different. Assuming you have a slicer that supports it, you could have different sized nozzles, like a point 0.2, point 0.1, but you'd have to have a slicer that supported that when it was slicing and no
yeah,
so that it could support that in your print, but you that could open up some additional interesting um prints.
yeah. And like Ray says, and Gary alluded to the system having like so Gary said it could be spring loaded, which yeah, that would make sense. It does, and Ray says it looks like a quarter turn lock, and it
Yep.
does. There's a little lock on the top. I'm just I know how mechanical things like this can end up in tears, but I also know when they work hopefully well. So I
It still has a lot of movement. Like and that's my biggest thing with both this and the bamboo. Like the bamboo has their movement, right? They have the thing that pops up with all the nozzles in it, right? To swap out, and then it shows you the nozzle and it grabs it and goes.
Yeah.
And that this is kind of the same thing. It's still they all have are more complex in their kinematics of moving the nozzle swap
Mm.
than the index.
I will say too, when you look at the pricing of this, if it's true, after the Kickstarter, it's no longer in the same price bracket of the U1. It goes up to probably like, let's call it the Bamboo Lab, or maybe a Prusa with nothing on it.
Yeah, because I mean, $1,000 US to 21 or 2,200 US, right?
Yeah.
Versus, the one with their dryer combo, 1,300 US to 2,500 US. Like, they're definitely. I mean, if their system works reliably, I mean, that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's one of those um you want to see it succeed. It looks neat, but there's also um barriers to what they're trying to do. So I
Yeah.
think,
Well, I mean, I do enjoy that they're at least they're trying to do um they're trying to innovate, right? On the
mm,
multi-color, right?
one, and I mean, when we saw like the innovations, like with this DFS and AMS and that stuff, it didn't happen overnight. There was a
Mhm.
lot of systems that didn't work, period, right? And then there was, well, that we're trying to, I don't know, fix, address. I don't know what you would say, but they wanted to make that problem better, and they did. Um,
And you look at how Clipper supports it now natively.
mhm.
And Clipper always had, like, they had the what is it, the Raging Rabbit or whatever it was,
Yeah, they were
which was the
carrot
MMU
feeder.
clone,
Yeah,
and
and
then
it's
they had
like,
the MMU.
and then the MMU is a good topic too, because I don't even know where it landed. I know that it worked kind of, but people were happy and not happy, and
Mhm.
like again, like it seems like
What
even
what
credible printer companies sometimes use you as beta testers.
what was the one that you really thought was cool and wanted with the chameleon thing? Was that what it was called?
Yeah,
Or
the 3D chameleon.
yeah,
It
which
was
again it was
simpler.
similar concept where single nozzle and then you would like feed all the filament in and
Yeah.
yeah.
So like Ray said Bruce is standardizing the RFID, or trying to, and then Gary's like, yeah, it'd be great. I think good luck with that. That's what I think, because you're never gonna get filament manufacturers on board with like a single like label, and also you're never gonna. I don't think you'll get them. Like, I don't think it'll get to the point where you can grab like a Bamboo Lab spool and then scan it on your Creality printer. I just don't see them playing in a perfect world. In a
It
perfect
would be
world,
what would
yes.
be nice is if it detects an RFID tag and it's from, let's say, your favorite brand of filament,
Yeah,
and you could then put in the parameters on that tag in the printer, and then the next time you put that type of filament in,
yeah,
it remembers it.
yeah.
So you could do it on the printer side as long as everyone's using the similar types of RFID. But
Mm,
RFID is like one of those things where you've got all the fields in it, right? And
yeah.
if everyone names their field different, it's not going to help.
No, and that's the thing. Like, it's kind of like when the master spool was going to be a thing, and everybody was like, "Yay, master spool! This is going to be great. It's going to revolutionize how we buy filament, because we can just get refills forever, and it's not going to matter. So this is going to be great." And then it's like, wah wah wah. No, I don't mean to be pessimistic, because it could happen. However, we really have to think about what we're saving here, because it takes me about 3 seconds to push the two buttons to tell the AMS or CFS what the heck filament that is.
Well, and we had someone like say, "Well, I can't use my printer if I can't use RFID." I'm like, yeah, you just choose the colors.
I like
It's
the
like not
last
rocket
comment.
science.
The great thing about standards is there's so many to choose from.
That's what I laughed at earlier because it's true.
You're
It's
not
true.
you're
Like
not wrong in the
there's 7
slightest.
million standards, and so
Yeah.
you could choose
The
just your favorites.
so like RFID and filament brands, like you're very dependent even on like the brand wanting to do it.
Mhm.
Because if you've noticed, lots of filament companies have been going the way of cardboard spools, even. And those are cardboard spools are real bad to put in your AMS or
They don't
CFSs.
slide nice.
Well, and they just wear out the rollers very quickly. And so then that's when you like, okay, well, then I'll get a re-spoolable spool and then just switch stuff on. And then that solves the problem for about 30 minutes until you get too many cardboard spools. And then you got to re-spool them all. And you're like, oh, I hate my life. So then, well, maybe not hate, but it's one of those things where yeah, and that's a good point too. There's the CFS app on Android phones, and there's actually a few other ways you could do RFID reading and writing. You
Mhm.
can do the if you get an ESP32. There's a couple projects that cost under $15 that would let you read the information from a spool and write it to another one,
Mm.
which that process would be okay, right? Like you'd be like, oh, this is all like boop 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 boop,
I
and
just
then you're
don't like the
done.
fact that my fridge has RFID on its filter. And if and
Um,
and if you put a filter in without out RFID, the water doesn't
it's
flow.
like, ooh, yeah. But Dominic says after he spooled cardboard spool, filament to basic PLAs because of humidity issues here. Pretty wasteful. Yeah, and so like here's the thing. The industry was trying to solve a problem.
They're
And the
creating
problem
money.
was we want to make it look like we give a crap about the plastics. Right? We don't, to be clear. If we 3D print, we know the waste involved, and the 40 grams of spool waste doesn't keep me awake at night. And like those cardboard ones, yeah, they self destruct. Um, I had one
Yeah,
when they get a little lower in the roll. I did have one in the AMS, and it started bucking and kicking inside because it was too late. So the rollers were just throwing it up and down, and I'm like, okay, I guess we can't use that. Um,
I think I have a cardboard spool here.
and like, so there's lots of like fixes. The communities come up for those. You can print the ring. So somebody made just a ring that can you print and you can slam onto the side and it covers the cardboard so that then when it's on the roller, it's touching the plastic to plastic. That works okay.
So yeah, but then aren't you adding a little height to it?
Yeah, the rings aren't that big. They maybe are like a millimeter tall,
Yeah,
but like you are. But if you're like me and you have filament spools from everywhere, you're already lifting the lid on the AMS. The
that's
CFS
true.
accommodates for tall filaments. There's a spring loaded piece in the top
Yeah,
that can move about half an inch. So,
that
uh,
kind of hold kind of like it presses against them to hold them on the bearings, kind of thing.
yeah, which is actually great because then they don't buck, and you get smoother filament feeding. Um, it's but again, like I have ordered specifically, like I go on my way to find plastic spool, order it, and then it shows up on a cardboard spool, and you're like, no, no, this is, and then don't believe the one guy on the internet, believe somebody else on the internet, aka us. He could tear off. I watched one guy like, no, it's easy. Just tear off the sides of the cardboard spool, slam it on this spool, it works fine. You tear off the sides of the cardboard spool, and if you
And
let go, sproing. If not, and you get it to the end, what happens is it never fits right, and so the cardboard spool just starts turning itself without like moving the spool, and you're like, I hate this so much. Um, yeah,
yeah.
and Raymond's that's a good point. Um, the PVC, the plumber or the electrical tape, you could just put that around the edge, and then that will do
The
it as well.
easiest way, just buy a plastic spool that or a filament that you know has a plastic spool.
Truth. So we kind of talked about a little bit about last week, but Creality did bring their new Spark i7 stuff out um, from CES this year, which is kind of I don't I don't know what they're going for, but it looks pretty, you know.
Would you like me to share my screen again?
No, I got it. Uh, okay, it's this one. Bam.
That's the one.
Okay. Greg's face is gone. That's awkward. Hold on.
It's okay.
No, 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 no.
As long as
Okay.
they can hear me, it's okay.
Now they can hear and see you and look at. Bam.
All right.
Everybody's okay. You're a little taller than you need to be, sir. Can you sit down a bit? Okay. Yes. Okay. So this is Spark. It's Creality's newest entry into the same printer that everybody's been using for a while. They're
It
calling
it
this
it's very similar looking to one of their other printers.
the high. Hello. Except this one's white and the high is silver.
Well,
Also, this one has the new CFS system that they are putting out. You
yeah,
could
you can see the filament buffer. It goes four filaments directly to the buffer, which is in the nozzle, right?
spoiler too. I guess
That looks
that's
a
the
lot like a
A1.
bamboo.
A1. Yeah, for sure. The CFS light is interesting because the spools, when you load them, you kind of like you can see the this one it loads up, so like you're loading them horizontally instead of dropping them in vertically, which I kind of like. I don't know if I hate it or love it. This system has worked well on other printers, so I can see it working well
I
here.
could see the jamming being easier to fix
Uh huh.
because you don't have to dig into the bottom if there's a problem.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I don't know if this CFS would work with other systems. Probably not, but maybe. But I don't see it working with like they have to have this end, so maybe they're coming out with a few
Well,
sparks.
but the filament buffer on the Crealities has four inputs.
Well, it does, so you could technically put four into it. Um, but that's probably not what they designed it for.
No.
Oh wait, go back, go back. Hmm,
Yes, I saw that little guy. That is
that's a
only two spools.
and it goes two out to one.
No, I
Uh,
think it goes two out to. Oh, maybe is it two out
no,
to one?
it's
I
two to
can't.
one, but like it's a render too, so that's tough to say. But it looks like they're playing around with other CFS ideas.
Yeah.
Um, of note, you do need more counter space with this one, just like you do for the other. Like,
Well, the high
um,
you do too because it can't sit on top.
yeah, it's not a lot of real estate, but it's you're gonna have to dedicate a table. Um, they do have like some new features in this one, which include monitoring, and they have like you can make portraits in their app, yada yada yada. They're very much coming after the Maker World um product now. It looks like
Yeah,
And then
and
they have a bunch of prints that they say this printer's made. I don't know if they made it.
the the other thing is interesting is they also at Formnext announced the Ender 3 V4, which isn't on their site.
Yeah,
And it is kind of similar to this, but they made it more user customizable, kind of.
yeah.
Whereas this one is more like just take it and print, right? So I think maybe the Ender 3 V4 was more. Let's see if I can find it here.
I'm also interested in the fact that this one says that it wastes less, so it says 50% less waste, and then it also says um, faster printing under 5 minute unboxing. Whoa! Um, so it looks like yeah, they keep bringing back this CFS Mini. I don't know much about the CFS Mini because that's the first rendering I've seen of it.
The
But
Ender 3 V4 is on their site if you want to do a quick search for it on their site. V4. Ender 3 V4.
couldn't be simpler.
And so slightly different. They have a single unit frame with and whatnot. Um,
Well, this one's
and
using the same buffering, it looks like, too, because there's only
yeah,
one.
yeah, and then they use just the regular CFS. So
Somebody's
it's
tricked out their ender. Wow.
oh yeah, so that's what I said. Like this one, they promoted as like you can customize it. So it's interesting because this is very similar but different, right?
Same, but different. Mhm.
So they must have had two departments designing the same freaking thing.
Well, again, though, like you are right. Like it is different because the CFS works differently. I imagine the load time changes, greater precision and cleaner finish. Wow. Hello? Oh, I see what it's
Yeah,
doing there. Serious smoothness, guys. Serious. I love this one. I saw
you
this and
can
I'm
nap
like,
while it's
who
printing.
who's gonna put their printer on and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a nap. Microplastics.
Oh, there's the fancy.
The new hot end on it, so you pull the lever and then the whole thing comes out, down, in, bam. Um, yeah, there's the CFS Mini again. There must be two SKUs for this.
Yeah,
Uh,
if you say buy now, the new little guy isn't available.
Millions of models that we stole, kind of, but not really. So don't ask questions.
Did you see their privacy filter on their camera
Yes, the little door.
lens that flips up?
Yeah.
It just
See, poop.
you just slip it up and so they can still get to you, but they just see blurriness.
It's almost a 260 cube. Um,
Oh, there's a CFS light and the CFS mini down at the bottom. They have the specs,
so it looks like they have more printers releasing for this platform, if you can believe that.
and then there's the mini.
Uh,
Number of filament slots 2.
I don't know if that's useful. I don't know. I don't know because, like, it would be, but like, as soon as you start printing with two, you're gonna be like, man, I wish I had more, right? Okay, so you can pre-order the Spark for $339 in American dollars. Welcome to the Creality Store. No thanks.
Can you choose Canadian dollars?
Sure. Up. Oh. Nope.
Oh wow.
Spark. What is this called? Why who goes Spark?
It's the Spark i7. Yeah, I guess you can't It's only available to in US dollars.
Yankee Doodle Land. And that's early bird, or it's $400 non-early bird. And then it looks like you can do i7 combo with filament, or filament and glue sticks. Well, and I guess the other addition to the Gravity line, which is kind of exciting, but
Is that the
underwhelming. Yeah, so the Space Pie is a four filament.
I put a link in the show notes.
It's okay. I can Google it. So Space Pie's been around for a while. They've had the one slot. Um, they have the two
And then
slot. Now,
and now they have just click on accessory and you'll see it up there beside store.
hold on.
Right.
I got it. Uh huh. Bam. And now they have four slots. So
Wow.
like all
And
other
it has a
filament,
200-watt heaters in it.
this one does have heaters in it because it's a filament dryer. Uh,
You
yeah,
have
up to
the what
75
is it?
degrees.
Sunlu
Sunloop?
version of this?
Yeah. So you can put four spools in. It's the same thing. Four spools in. There's provisioning on the actual device so that you can like feed out from it, which basically lets you like see output to your printers however you want. It's important to note that these are not motorized. Right? I'm not sure if they can pull back or not.
Who was it that had the dryer that you adapted onto an AMS CFS that sits on top?
Sunloop.
It was it Sunlu?
Yeah. Sunloop AMS heater thing. Yeah, so then let's just like there you go, Sunloop starts. So then there it is. So it's just a hat. So this one replaces the lid on your AMS with the heater, which is cool.
so
So
it turns it into a dryer
yep.
in place, which is that's kind of neat.
But again, like Space Pie and other four filament dryers, one you can dry four filaments, which is pretty sweet. But the ability to be able to pull out while you're printing and then use it is pretty sweet as well. Um, I don't see anything about auto rewind on it. I know for a fact that the Sunlu does not have auto rewind, uh, which isn't. It's a big deal, and it isn't the way they have it coming out. So you can see it like this one. There's a little PTFE tube that goes whoop and like guides it all the way to the print head on these ones.
Yeah,
Um, it would constrain the filament enough that if it goes back and forth and this is on sufficient rollers, it should move the spool inside.
right.
Um, Dominic says the Cutie box is excellent, uh, and it's a filament dryer, so that's
Nice.
cool. That's actually really sweet. I always thought that um, why didn't they just go the extra 4 seconds? You know, throw a nice dryer in these CFS AMS.
Because that would cost more.
It would. People would pay a little more, although they like to pay less. The interesting thing here is dual chambered as well,
Yeah.
where higher heat on one side is just letting you see you can choose. So it's almost like what they did is take the two Space Pies and went, meh,
I need to take a bio break.
it's fine. I'll say goodbye to people.
Okay.
Okay. Jake's leaving us, everybody, and I don't know how I feel about it. I feel okay about it, but obviously it makes me sad. Stupid green screen? Why you gotta be like that? Fix it later. Not bad when it's small, but man. Um, so that's kind of what we had planned to talk about anyway. I am, like Greg mentioned at the end there, I think that I'm more excited actually for stuff like that Sunlu. Um, dryer that can sit on top of your or filament dryer and replace the lid. I think that's a great idea. I also I'd be interested to see inside it if they've actually given you a little more room, because with that, if you had to lift the lid and have a gap, that would be bad. Friends, the time has come. I will bid you adieu, but in the meantime, if you want to check more stuff out, you can check all the links at 3dmakeit.ca. You have to use www. Um, then you can get us there. You could do us on Patreon or YouTube slash 3D Make It. And yeah, until next time, you know, touch grass, take a minute, breathe deep, and then we will meet you next week. And yeah, have a good one, everybody. Bye.